What's going on here, man? Oh, there we go. Ah, son of a gun. We're live now. It was on some weird screen. Anyway, it's a beautiful day out here. It's a beautiful afternoon. It is, I think it's around 5 something. I better go look. 5 p.m., maybe 5:20 p.m. I lose track of time. Let's see. What is it? It's 5:25 p.m. Pacific time here in the Gulf Islands in the North Pacific. I'm going to spin this thing around, and you can see what I'm looking at here. So shade temperature right now is about 71 degrees. Humidity 55%. And we are broadcasting live from the Gulf Islands in the North Pacific. This is what the sky's looking like here. Those are native Douglas fir trees. That's when we heat our house with those suckers right there. Things down, it'll heat it all winter long. So lots of different types of native trees here. The best ones are those arbutus trees. That stuff burns real hot. That's hardwood, but I don't like cutting those ones down. They're absolutely beautiful. I'm live. Yeah, I'm live, man. I just turned it on there, Raz. Good to see you in there. Hope all the dads out there had a good Father's Day. I'm going to spin this around. I got my reading glasses on so I can see. I only need reading glasses to read the screen on here. If not, I can't see it, man. So anyway, I'm going to show you something here pretty cool. It's really nice here. It's really warm. Like I say, about 71 in the shade. Very, very ocean breeze. And we are on the southern Gulf Islands off the extreme southwest coast of Canada. And that was pretty cool yesterday. Raz did bring up a map of our islands. Check out Raz's channel, Adventures with Raz. And yes, she is in Minnesota, the home of 10,000 lakes. I think it even says it on their license plate. I ran into 2 cars within the last couple of weeks with Minnesota plates, and once in a while we do see them on our island. Those were over on the Big Island. So anyway, I'm just going to show you a female palm here. I'm going to spin it around, and the female palm here is pollinated. So each one of these little bumps on here is going to be a seed, and that's the palm fruit. And I harvest that fruit. It turns black, and it's about the size of a blueberry, and I usually harvest it about mid-December. I start to harvest. That's a male up there. And that its pollen's floated all over the place and landed on these flowers and pollinated them. So that's a female that's going to get seed. I love seeing them out, to be clear. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And you learn a lot from YouTube. You know, you probably didn't know much about these islands before. So in this part of Canada, we can grow some pretty cool stuff. When the rest of Canada is shoveling snow in the wintertime, we're looking out at palm trees. And I'm not the only crazy guy that grows palms on this island. So our island is 16.7 miles long, okay? And Wendy and I live on the very northern tip of this rock. And people who live here call it the rock because it's pretty rocky soil, most of it, although we do have some beautiful valleys here where they do farming. And so like I say, we're the same island archipelago as Washington State San Juan Islands. And you know what's really cool? If you look up on a map, so if you look at our islands, we're actually below the 49th parallel. We technically should be in the U.S. 49th parallel is the U.S. border, and the southern Gulf Islands where we are below that boundary. But there's a little chunk of land over on the mainland, just above Washington State, and it is actually Washington State, but the only way to get into the actual Washington State, it's attached to Canada. You actually have to take a car around through Canada to get back into the States. It's called Point Roberts. So you look that up on a map, and if you went right across to Washington State from our island, and you look up a little bit north, you'll see a little chunk of land called Point Roberts. And the only way to get back, like I say, into the actual Washington State is drive through Canada. So the kids that live there have to go on a school bus every day, and they have to go through 2 borders. They have to go through Point Roberts into Canada, and then they have to drive all the way around, and they have to go through Peace Arch border back into Washington State. It's crazy, man. It's like, why is that the U.S. and our islands are not the U.S.? I don't get it. I mean, whoever was making these maps back then must have been freaking had his head in the glue bag, or he was wasted too many wobbly pops. Because technically, these Southern Gulf Islands should be American, right? Because we are below the 49th. Even southern Vancouver Island is all below the 49th parallel. The capital of our province, Victoria, British Columbia, on the southern end of Vancouver Island, is way below the 49th, right? So anyway, we'll spin this baby around, and we'll just show you some of the wild stuff we got here. So the jasmine vines are going to be blooming soon. They are budded. I can actually see flower buds right here. So when this thing blooms, I wish I had smell-o-vision. There are millions of flower buds on this jasmine vine. I planted this in 1999. There's 4 of them here, and they're big, big vines. And they wrap up through this bamboo, and it smells like Hawaii in here when they bloom. Here's one of my tikis. These are the ones I carve with a chainsaw. This is an old one out of driftwood, and I kind of like the Polynesian look. And then, of course, through the palms, and you look at it, yeah. Fool, I've had people say, well, you're not in Canada. That's absolute BS. We are in Canada. We're on Salt Spring Island. And the reason it's called Salt Spring Island, formerly known as Admiral Island back in the 1800s, Salt Spring Island, because there are salt springs here on the northern end of Salt Spring Island. I'm just going to show you some cactus. Cactus should be blooming pretty soon. I think maybe in another few weeks there might be some flowers on the cactus. Now, hopefully the Wi-Fi doesn't crap out here. Our beautiful Starlink. Right here, there's a bunch of cactus growing in here. And if I crap out, I'll go back closer to the thing. You can see we got cactus. That's native cactus to our island right there. That's native Salt Spring Island cactus, native to the Southern Gulf Islands. And then there's agaves. Everything grows out here, man. It's crazy. And, they appear tropical, but really not super tropical. They're hardy enough to withstand snow and some frost and bromeliad. And this one will actually bloom. When it does get a bloom on it, I'll show you. It's super exotic. Wendy's got her roses in there, and then lots of bamboo. I don't want to go too far because what's going to happen, I will lose signal unless I go through the house and I go through the front, because like down there is like a jungle, man. And I could do it. I might be able to do it. Let's just see. No, I'll go around the other way. I don't want to lose you guys. And there's a Yucca gigantea. This one's native to Central America. And then there's more yuccas down in here. And all the stuff's on its own. Survival of the fittest. The kiwis are blooming. Kiwis have flowers on them, but they're farther on the other side. And if I go too far, then the signal's going to die. But those are kiwi vines up there. We get a lot of kiwi fruit. Hello, doggy boy, 88. Where are you, doggy boy? What is your, I was going to say QTH. That's radio talk. What's your location? When I'm talking on the radio, it's QTH. QTH means what's your location? I'm here off the southwest coast of British Columbia. And, so that's a male palm tree there too. And the hydrangeas are going to bloom soon. These are Wendy's hydrangeas. She loves hydrangeas. And I don't know if I showed you guys before, the black petunias. Black petunias, they're an annual. This is only a summertime. They'll bloom till we get frost in the fall, but they are black. And there's the radio room there. There's the antenna, one of my antennas. And that's where I make lots of noise in that little radio room there. It's hot out here on the deck. Western Massachusetts near the New York. Oh, cool, man. Yeah, I talk there lots. I talk to Massachusetts a lot. All different places there. You got some islands out there too. You got Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard, right? So this is the back. This is a south-facing wall. It gets pretty hot back here. So that's there we go. We're live again. I'll go out to the front and I'll show you something. So here's the view that Wendy gets. And when we're sitting in the living room, there's the view he gets. And when we're sitting in the living room, there's the view through the living room. I vacation on Martha's Vineyard. How is Martha's? I also wonder if there's palm trees on Martha's Vineyard. Is there palm trees out there? I'd love to go to Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket. I know you got to take a ferry there. Kind of like our islands here. The only way to get... There we go. That just drives me crazy when it does that. With Starlink, you figure it wouldn't crap out as much. Yeah, I'd love to see Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. And I also like to see Minnesota too. It's not subtropical. There we go. We're live again. So if you have a large body around you, like the Pacific Ocean here, for instance, we have the offshore Japanese current. And we also have the North Pacific current, and it regulates our air temperatures in the winter. So the ocean here is like a heat bank. It rarely ever goes below 45 degrees Fahrenheit, even in the coldest winter months. So that releases heat in the winter, and it enables us to grow a lot of this cool stuff. So even though the plants really appear tropical, they're not really tropical. They're kind of tropical look. And show you guys something really cool here. I'll show you the Tasmanian tree fern. Bird of paradise going to bloom soon. Some nice flower spikes on it. There it is right there. Those are the biggest ferns you're ever going to see. Lots of rich people there. Some, yeah, cool. Yeah, that's what I heard. There's a lot of money. It's like these Gulf Islands. It costs a lot to live out here. Everything's really expensive here. Food, gas, everything, because it has to be brought in by boat. So similar to Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket. So there's a Tasmanian tree fern, and there's a male palm tree blooming beside it right there. And I will show you the trunk on this beauty. I planted this thing in 1994. Look at the trunk on that. 6 feet of trunk on this fern. So it's got a palm trunk with fern fronds. And that is from Tasmania. One of these days, I hope to make it to Martha's Vineyard or Nantucket. You want to know something really cool? I don't know if I told you this before. So I got a couple of buddies that are... It's dying sometimes. Sorry, man, the connection. But anyway, I got a couple of buddies riding across Canada on their Harleys in the summertime. And I says, well, where are you going across Canada? He said, Atlantic Canada. They're going to Newfoundland. I says, well, when you're out there, why don't you go check out St. Pierre and Miquelon? They never heard of them. I says, they're 2 islands off of Newfoundland. It's an hour ferry ride from Newfoundland. And these 2 islands are French. They are owned by France. It's part of Europe. And it's not that far from Canada. So they said, yeah, cool. So I sent them a link, a YouTube channel. Look it up. You can go off of Canada, an hour ferry ride off of Newfoundland, and you are actually in France. St. Pierre in Miquelon. Lots of history there. If you like French pastries, wine, and all that stuff, they got it all. They got hotels, they got B&Bs, everything off the coast of Canada. And you're in Europe. They fly the French flag. They use the euro, and they actually have French license plates. It's really strange. Because a lot of those people, they come and do a big shopping, and they'll take the boat, an hour boat from St. Pierre Miquelon to Newfoundland, and they probably hit the Costco and stuff like that. So in Newfoundland, you'll see a lot of European plates, French plates from those 2 islands. Kumquat ready to bloom right there. And yeah, it's nice in the shade here. Very, very nice in the shade. So yeah, one of these days I like to travel. I do like to travel to the U.S. Most of all our traveling trips are in the U.S. For me, I've really never been anywhere in Canada. The farthest east I've ever been is Alberta. I've been to Edmonton a couple of times in the summer many years ago, but all of our vacation time is spent in the good old USA. So Hawaii many times. I've been to Hawaii 26 times. I've been to Alaska 5 times. I've been to Florida, Oregon, Washington, California, and I've been down to Mexico and the Caribbean and stuff like that. And I landed at Rushmore too. That's what I really love to see. Mount Rushmore, where they got the president's faces carved into those rocks. So anyway, here's one of our accommodations right here. Let me spin it around. That's one of our accommodations right here. This is called Magnolia Petal. There's a little sign for you. Salt Spring Island, Aloha, Canada's Hawaiian island. Right there. So Wendy has 2 accommodations here. And we've had people from Minnesota stay here. We've had people from Massachusetts stay here too. We've had people from all over the U.S. stay here, and Hawaii. More than once we've had Hawaiians stay here, Europe. And so she's on booking.com. So people come out and they step into the garden here, and it's like you're somewhere else, really. It really is. I don't know if I can go a little bit farther out here. Hopefully it won't die on me. But I'll show you a really tall palm. There's some redwoods. Those are California redwoods. And look through here. Hopefully it don't die on me. Big palm right there. Wendy's hybrid. There's a big palm tree there. There's palms everywhere here. So there's my Hawaii. I had my sign on there. It said 2,660 something miles to Hawaii. So there's a female palm tree, and it actually self-seeds everywhere. It's naturalized. There's palms growing all over like weeds. But these are coast redwoods, tallest conifers in the world. And this is the front of the place. This is a B&B driveway. We wouldn't have any guests staying here right now. So that's why Wendy's parking there. But yeah, if you're ever out here on the West Coast, or you're in Oregon or Washington, come and check out these southern Gulf Islands. I think you'd find it kind of cool out here. It's quite different than the rest of Canada, right? And yeah, you can kind of create a jungle here. There's some pretty amazing gardens on Salt Spring Island, especially when you get right down to the ocean. I mean, towering palm trees, white crushed shell beaches. It looks like you're somewhere else, but you're not. You're in Canada. I know it's nuts. You're an amateur horticulturist. Cool. Right on, man. You got to like that. Gardening is good. I love gardening. I mean, there it goes. It's crapped out on me. So an amateur horticulturalist, you got to like that, man. That is a cool thing to be. It's a good hobby. It's a healthy hobby doing, yes, you too, Raz. I saw your cool stuff. And it looks like you're living in a nice, quiet area too. So, and you know what? Practice makes perfect. The more you do it, the better you get. I wanted to show you something super cool. It's called a pineapple broom tree. And I did actually shoot a video here on Wendy's channel. And the flowers smell like pineapple. That's all right, man. You got to start at some point in your life. And it doesn't matter. You're still a young, So you're going to have lots of fun gardening. Good for you. Good for your health. This one's going to bloom. This tree right here, I grew it from seed in the early 1990s, around 1990, and I got the seed from Southern California. This is called a Heteromeles arbustifolia, or a Toyon or California holly, and these turn into beautiful white flowers that the butterflies like and the bees, and then it gets red berries that the birds eat. And, last January 2024, mid-January 2024, we actually had a cold snap here. First time I've ever seen this thing get damaged on it. It got down to 16.5 degrees Fahrenheit, which is really cold here. Really, really cold, because it's rare that it ever goes below 20 here in a cold winter. And it caused a lot of damage to it. But let me know if I'm live still. I think it actually restarted. I think it crapped out on me. I went too far away from the Starlink router or whatever it is. What a pain. Starlink's not cracked up to what they say it is. It's supposed to be. I'm going to go out here. And you sit out here. And hopefully, let's put it there. I'm not even going to touch it anymore. I'm just going to sit here. Can you guys still see me? Am I still live streaming? I'm curious. I think Krista's home. I think Wendy's daughter's home, and that means dinner. I guess that's it, man. I guess, I don't know. Maybe this live stream ain't going anymore. It says I am. The timer's going. It says 1 minute and 38 seconds. I should have just stayed put on this table here instead of walking around. I just wanted to show. Oh, am I coming back in now, doggy boy? Sorry about that. The problem is, okay, thanks, Raz. It's too far from the router. Anyway, I got Starlink up on the roof there, and the router's at the end of the house. And if I go too far from it, it craps out. And you know what it's like, because you got a big yard, and you get too far from it, and then the signal kind of dies. So anyway, I'm going to keep it right here on the back sun deck. In the sun, I'm tanning. It's nice out here. We don't have any smoke or anything. It's absolutely beautiful. I'll show you. The sky is blue, and it is just absolutely the perfect day here. And usually humidity is really, really low. Really, really low. So, so you got nice weather there. And no smoke. Hopefully Raz has no smoke today. That smoke is no good for you, man. I remember a few years ago, I think it was like probably 2018 or 2019, maybe 2019. We had like about 4 days of smoke, and it was nasty, man, just nasty. And after about the second day, I could actually feel it in my lungs and my nose and my throat. It was really, really bad. You got a good setup. Yeah, sorry, but I'm gonna apologize, because it just drives me crazy when it dies off of me. But that's just the way it is. I'd love to show you the whole garden. I'd like to take the palm nursery, but I was touring some people here for an hour and a half before this live stream. Somebody phoned me up. Her mom's visiting. She moved here from Kenya, Africa, and the local girl here, she's been here 25 years, wanted to know if our mom could come through the garden. So I just toured them through the garden before this. And it's a big garden. It takes over an hour easily to get through the whole garden. You're only seeing small parts of the garden here, really small parts of the garden. This garden goes way, way back, way back. And it gets crazy. It's a crazy garden, man. It's a big garden. It goes down the slope and then down into the ravine and way, way back there into the forest. There's stuff growing. You name it, and it's growing. And anyway, there's the Starlink up there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to tune into Raz's my nightly Raz Adventures with Raz. I look forward to Raz's live stream. It's always awesome, and you put on a very good live stream. I used to do a lot more live streaming on Banana JSSI. For those of you who don't know me, this is actually Wendy's YouTube channel, and this is Gulf Island Rock. And the reason it's called Gulf Island Rock because we live on the Gulf Islands. We're on the southern Gulf Islands, and people that live here call it the Rock. So that's why it's called Gulf Island Rock. It's nothing to do with rock and roll. It is Gulf Island Rock because this is a rock. When you dig a hole here to plant something, man, you got to use a wrecking bar, post hole shovel, and a pick because big chunks of rock come out. Actually, I'll show you. I'll show you what comes out. This is what the soil's like here. Let me flip this around. Right here. See all these rocks? This is what comes out of the soil right here. That's what we live on. No, crime here is pretty much nil. You don't have to even lock your car doors or anything, man. You know what the funny thing is? Here, so on our island, there's about, I think, 10,500 people, population. I think like 60% of them are retired. Most of them are retired. And, people come into the cafe in the morning to get a coffee. They leave their car running out there in the parking lot. They're in there chewing the rag with their buddies and workers like early in the morning. And they're in there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They come out and their car's running in the parking lot. Like people go do their banking, leave their car running in front of the bank and do their banking, come out. They always do that, man. That's just the way it is here on Salt Spring Island. So it's a pretty safe place. But, with every place, there is going to be some sort of crime, maybe petty theft, more like vandalism and stuff, So it's more vandalism. When I worked for the park, it was more like vandalism. People spray painting stuff, especially on the bathroom walls and things like that. But yeah, it's a pretty laid back place. Turn it around through here for a minute. So get a good look at some of these palms. So these palm trees are called windmill palm trees. You can Google that. They're called Chinese windmill palm trees, and they are native to China. They're pretty cool. Sounds like there's somebody coming through the jungle. Now there's a cool chick right there. Hey, you know who this is? This is my stepdaughter. I want to show you my You know what? This is my awesome stepdaughter. That's Wendy's beautiful daughter, and she said Happy Father's Day. I love Krista. Yeah. Did you have a good day at work? Yeah, she had an awesome day. She had an awesome day at work, and Krista's a good gal. Anyway, we do the cold water swimming together. She got me into the cold water swimming. So, and I didn't see my kids today. Krista lives with us. It's cool. She rents a room from us. But my kids are over on the Big Island, so they all wished me a happy Father's Day, which is good. I started the day out today. Wendy said, let's go for a hike in the forest. Come on. There we go. Reconnecting. And anyway, so we went for a walk. And then we got home. And then I took Wendy for a motorcycle ride down to the Hub coffee shop, got her a London Fog, which is actually Earl Grey tea with vanilla, and they froth it up with cream or milk, so she likes that. And then I had my oat milk latte, some exotic plants. They have a really cool wild garden. So I'm on my motorcycle, so I had 2 saddlebags full of plants, exotic plants, and then Wendy was holding a plant. And then got home, had some lunch, finished watering some stuff, and then we went over to another friend of mine's place, and I rode the motorcycle. Wendy took her vehicle. And he gave us a tour of his brand new house, which has an amazing view of the ocean and Vancouver Island and stuff like that. And then I rode back and then came back, finished watering the garden, had a snack, and then that's when the friends came over for a garden tour. So I had a pretty busy Father's Day today. I didn't get to actually see my kids, but they're going to come over sooner than later. They said they're going to come over visit. And they all live over on Vancouver Island, which we call the Big Island. The Big Island to the west of us is Vancouver Island, and Vancouver Island is a big island. If you start in Victoria and you drive to Port Arthur, it's over 7 hours to drive that island. On the far west coast of Vancouver Island, you go to places like Bamfield, Tofino, Ucluelet, Port Renfrew, and all the other beaches, Sombrio, Jordan River. They surf over there. There's surf shops everywhere. It's like being in California. There's surf shops. There's even palm trees over there, and beaches, endless sand beaches that go for frickin' ever. And yeah, it's really cool. I got videos of Tofino. You can go on Banana JSSI and you can check out the videos I've shot over there of the surf shops and the palm trees and all that stuff in Tofino on the far west coast Vancouver Island. That's where we often spend Thanksgiving. We'll go over there and we'll do a turkey and stuff like that. And you got to remember, our Thanksgiving here is different than American Thanksgiving. Yours is at the end of November, and ours is at the beginning of October. Okay, beginning of October, and here up in yours is end of November. And I know that because we'd always celebrate American Thanksgiving when we go to Maui. And when we stay at the condo on Maui, everybody would it'd be like a how do they say that? When everybody brings something, a potluck. It'd be like a potluck. And everybody in each condo, if they wanted to go to this Thanksgiving dinner, and they'd cook, the strata would cook 6 turkeys. There'd be that many people there. And I got videos of the table. It's the longest Thanksgiving table you'll ever see. And there's like hundreds of people at this table. And you go up and they have all the food laid out. Americans do it in a big way. Americans do Thanksgiving in a big way, and it is awesome. It is absolutely awesome. So we always bake something in our condo and bring it there. But I haven't been back to Maui since was it December 2019. 2019 was the last time I was there, man, and I miss it. Got to go back to Hawaii again sometime. I love Hawaiian Islands, but the Canadian dollar sucks. It really is low. If it goes back up again, then we'll go. Too much food, though. Yeah, too much food, man. No kidding, man. I find American portions a lot bigger than the Canadian portions. When I was down in California and I go into a restaurant, it'd be like supersized, man. It was like big. The plate was stuffed, and I like it. I'm a big eater. Like on the cruise, man, when they see me coming, Raz, they say, man, there's that guy again. We're going to lose money. I eat probably more than everybody. But you know what? I actually lost a pound, which sounds crazy, but every day I ran up the stairs, and we were on the 8th floor, so I'd be running up the stairs. I'd never use the elevator, running up and down the stairs, and go to the gym every day. So I actually lost weight. Burn it all off. Yes, we can share meals. Yeah. Yeah, you'd love Maui, man. Well, you've probably been to Maui, haven't you? Have you been to Maui? Or you been to Hawaii? I think you said you've been to Hawaii before. But yeah, Maui's a pretty cool place. All the times I've been to Oahu, which is where Waikiki and Honolulu is, I've been there 20 times to Oahu, the gathering place. That's what Oahu means. Matter of fact, I was married there first time around. Okay, Oahu. I was married there on September 8th, 1986 at the base of Diamond Head in a little park. And I thought Oahu was the place to be, and I never really wanted to go to Maui. I thought there wouldn't be enough to do there. And then when I met Wendy, we got together in 2012, spring of 2012. She says, you know what? I'm going to Maui in November, the end of the season, the end of the year. Why don't you come along? She invited me along. I just had to bring some spending money. She paid for my flight there. And I was thinking, wow, cool. Okay. So I went to Maui for the first time, and guess what, man? I fell in love with Maui. Maui's awesome. So that was November 2012, my first time on Maui. She stayed there 3 weeks. I came and joined her for a week. And then I buggered off and came back home. But it was fun. I had a blast. She rented a convertible Mustang. We cruised around the island. And then in 2013 and 2014, Wendy and I went back to Oahu. But every other time we went back to Maui. I would like to see Kauai. Kauai would be nice. And You're our dog? That's our guard dog. Kahu. Hey. There's our guard dog right there. 8 pounds of Yorkie. Hey. Hey, Kahu, come and say hi. Come here, you want a treat? Here's our little dog. He's over 12 years old. Look at him. What are you doing? He loves a walk. And he loves to stretch. You love to stretch, don't you? Yeah, his birthday was April 3rd. He's an Aries like me. Wendy's daughter's a Libra, and Wendy's a Sag. So I'm an Aries, and this dog is an Aries. Yeah, he's a cute little guy. He's a Yorkie Havanese. And he's a Heinz 57. He's not a purebred, but there was 8 in the litter. And the reason we got that dog, and we weren't really in the market for a dog, hey, Kahu, and he's named after Kaho'olawe. He's named after the smallest island, Hawaiian island. So you see this little island right, I'm going to point to it right there. You see my finger? Right there, that tiny little island right there. That's the bigger island. There, we're live again. The signal was gone. Sorry, man, I lost it. But anyway, so we named him Kaho'olawe only is because we used to sit on the beach, McKenna Beach, and we look over at the little island of Kaho'olawe. I says, we ever get a dog, we'll name him Kaho'olawe. So we call him Kahu for short. But the only reason we got that dog is because my oldest son and his wife at the time, they says, "Hey, Dad, come over and see our puppy we got." So Wendy and I went over there and says, "Oh my God." It was like the cutest little thing. His brother. And says, do the people have any more of these puppies? And they says, yeah, they got a couple more puppies. So we got the address. We went down there, and these two little dogs, we saw the guy, and these two little dogs came running up. Oh, actually, no, there's two dogs, and one of them came running up to Wendy. And Pride Month, what is that? I'm not too sure what that is. Is that a happy? I guess. I don't know. I mean, veterans. I'll say it's Veterans Month. Anyway, happy, whatever it is. Pride. I'm not too sure what that is. Anyway, the little dog came running up to Wendy, and she says, "I want this one." And you know what the owner said? He said, "That one's not for sale." And she says, "Well, that's the one I want." She says, "That's not for sale." But he was a wheeler dealer. And okay, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what it was. I don't really see much of that stuff around here on our island, really. So I just know there's a few rainbows up. Celebrating gays pride. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay, I just thought it was a happy day. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. All the fathers. There's lots of good fathers out there. Hopefully most fathers are good, right? Hopefully most of the fathers are nice fathers. I think I'm a decent father. I mean, I've been really good to my kids. I love them, they love me, and Wendy's kids are great too. Yeah, Father's Day. And then there was Veterans Day the other day too. There should be a Veterans Month, I think. You know what I mean? People that fought for our freedom. There should be definitely a Veterans Month. Anyway, so the guy said, so Wendy says to the guy, "I want this dog." He says, "Okay, here's the deal. I'll sell you that dog, but it's going to cost you more than the other dog," because he didn't want to sell it. And I think he's just full of it. So she paid $600 for it, and he also wanted a 2-night stay in her B&B for his friends visiting, and he also wanted a piece of Wendy's artwork. So she says she really wanted that dog badly, so that's what she had to do. She had to pay more, give him a piece of artwork, and a 2-night stay in the B&B for his friends. So she's got the dog 12 years later now, man. I know, crazy, eh? And the other dog was cute too, but this dog was kind of the runt of the litter, Raz. He was really, really tiny. Like, I got videos of him. There's videos of the dog because I've been shooting videos since 2008. So I got videos of everything. He'd fit in your hand. He was just so tiny, so cute, and he was black. He was black, you know. I mean, you got to love dogs. Me, I like dogs more than most people I meet. I always say that, man. I like dogs, and I like people that like dogs. And dogs can usually sense if you're a good person too. So change doggy bags and the litter and the litter cans and stuff like that, the waste. And I'd always have a box of Milk-Bone dog biscuits in the back seat of my parks truck, my government truck, and all the dogs, especially this one park, Mowat Park, where people like to walk their dog in town in Ganges. They'd always come up to me. They knew me. And I'll never forget one time I'm changing the doggy bags. We had them on a post, and then there's a garbage can underneath them. And I turn around because my door was open. There's this huge dog sitting in my driver's seat. I'm thinking, oh man, how am I going to get you out of here? It's like, haha, biscuit. So I had to open the back door up of my parked truck, and I grabbed the box of Milk-Bone dog biscuits, and I says, "Treat," and he hopped out, and I got him out of my truck. But all the dogs that come up to me, I like the dogs, man. Dogs are good things, and Wendy likes dogs too. So this little dog, if he ever goes, will probably get a bigger dog. I've always had bigger dogs. I've had German Shepherd. I had one German Shepherd. I've had beagles. I've had my very first dog when I was a kid was like a little wiener dog when I was a kid. That was in the 60s. We had like a little dash hound. My mom had a poodle when we were a kid. I've had border collie. I've had Doberman. I've had lab. I've had collie, tricolor, purebred collie. And then we've had this little guy here. So yeah, dogs are, well, you're a good person because you love dogs, and I know your dog loves you. So love them. Our friend has a really nice German Shepherd. We toured his house today, and you know what he said? He says his dog just about died the other day. He's our plumber. He's a plumber guy, and he says his dog had a stick. I guess it was chewing on a stick, and it broke, and it got stuck in its throat. A really nice German Shepherd, purebred, probably 2 years old, and the dog was actually down on the ground, like on its way out. And he actually opened up, thank God he was there, and he opened up his mouth, and he could just barely reach that stick, and he got it. It went in sideways down its throat, and he could see it, and he pulled it out. And yeah, super cool dogs. Like I said, thank God, Max, you were there, because if you weren't